Today I really want to do a video on additional services for your clients and what to charge for them. Before I do that, I feel like I need to do a video on what I charge for just my basic services. My basic services are kind of what most people need. It's all included. So it's like up to 6 hours of music for a wedding reception, all the sound and lighting you need for probably up to 300 people maybe, and also client meetings, putting together timelines, music, all of that stuff. But to come up with this price, what I really had to do is figure out what my expense was for doing this gig and also what I want to pay myself. And this is kind of how you can break it down. Let's say you've got $6,000 worth of DJ equipment. You can use this as kind of a guide for what to charge for rental. If you went to a rental house to rent $6,000 worth of DJ equipment, it would cost quite a bit. But I think if you go either 5 or 10% for each gig, that's pretty fair. And that also helps pay for your equipment, and it helps give you some reserve once your equipment's paid for to upgrade when you need to. Because, things go bad, you need to upgrade. You can't use the same stuff forever. So if you go 5%, basically you pay for your DJ equipment in 20 different gigs. If you go 10%, you pay for your DJ equipment in 10 gigs. So for me, I go 5%. So let's say I have $6,000 worth of stuff, 5% of that is $300. Now, do I have to bring an assistant along? If I do, what do I pay this assistant? Let's say I pay the assistant $100. I got to build that into my fee. So now we're at $400. I also have to figure fuel, wear and tear on my vehicle, not only for going back and forth to the gig, but also the client meetings. So if I have a client meeting and I have to drive an hour away for this, that's a 2-hour round trip. Plus I have to go to the gig, let's say that's a 2-hour round trip, because 1 hour away is my home area. If I have to go further than 1 hour away, you're no longer in my home area and I have to charge additional fees for travel. But within my home area, I figure a tank of gas and also wear and tear on the vehicle, insurance, all that stuff, averages out to about $100. So that's my expenses for just transportation. So now we are at $500. We also have to think about music expenses. The way I do this is I figure, okay, if I gig once a week for the year, then all I have to do is divide my music expenses per week and charge that to the client. So what are my music expenses? Figure it out for the month, divide it by 4, and then figure you need a few things here and there for the client, maybe 5 additional downloads you don't have, you have to grab off of Amazon or some other download service. Let's say your fee's $25 for that. You tack that on. You also have to consider office charges. Again, if you're doing a gig every week for the year, you just take that month, divide it by 4, and there are your expenses. What do you figure in there? Well, you figure out your internet. You figure out your phone. You figure out your printer paper, your ink, all that stuff. Maybe it averages out to about $30. You tack that on, now you're at $560, just for instance. Now, you've covered most of your expenses. Now you have to figure out what you're going to pay yourself. Now that gets a little weird because some people say, well, all you have to do is figure how many hours you're playing at the gig. Not true. You got to figure the time you're spending in transit. You have to figure the time you're spending in meetings. You have to figure your prep time at home when you're building timelines, talking to the client, doing whatever you have to do per gig, loading, unloading, all that stuff. What are you going to charge for all that? Plus, you've got a certain amount of expertise. We hope you're an experienced DJ. That experience is like a college education. You need to charge for that. So that's how you come up with like your base price for like an all-inclusive gig. That's how I do it anyway. Other people do it different, but I feel that's fair because what I don't do is show up at a client meeting and say to myself, I wonder how much I can get out of these people. It's not the case at all. I want to know what my expenses are and then what I'm going to pay myself. That's what I charge the client. I don't charge more. I don't charge less. That's what I've got to charge. And additional services are different. Additional services like uplighting or spotlighting or gobos or ceremony or separate setup locations and all that stuff, you charge differently for that. And you have to kind of use the same process, which I'll get into in the next video. I just wanted to clear up how I come up with my all-inclusive price for my DJ services, which is what most people need. I try to give them everything they need with wireless microphone and everything. If they need more, great. If they need less, well, whatever. This is what I charge for the services. So there you have it. I hope this video helps somebody. We'll see you next time real soon. I'm going to do this video on additional services. Practice and enjoy.